back in England covering the Champions League. It feels like ages since the last time I covered the whole Asian Cup. I'm back with my dad. How are we doing?
I forgot what you look like, Theo, but I tell you what, my mind is on the Super Bowl.
What? Why is it? But Dad, we're talking about football, not American football, you mug.
Taylor Swift, Theo, down in a pint in one. I'm getting her to the Reebok pint of Carl in love.
Enough of the muggery, thogdad. How many likes are we hitting? Because we are so back.
9,947.
What about five-figure
Oh,
thogdad?
go on then.
10,000. Just because we're back. Champions League, what's the first game?
First game is FC Copenhagen against Manchester City, third in the Danish League against second in the Premier League. Now, FC Copenhagen played City 4 times, drawn 2 and lost 2, Theo.
They have, and currently with their season being paused, they have to focus on Atlantic Cup fixtures. They're winning games though. El Yunusi, 5 goals in the last 2 games, but Manchester City, best team in the world, just won the quadruple. I think they've got a stupid of like 12 games unbeaten right now. Everybody's looking good. Haaland's scoring again. Surely it's too much.
Well, I tell you what, Theo, Copenhagen in the Danish Superliga before it paused, third place. So Matthew Benham's Michelin are actually top of that league. It's going to be really difficult for them, but they've been to this stage of the tournament twice before.
But Dad, in Europe, Copenhagen is still looking good. They beat Galatasaray at home. The Section 12, all in white. I was at that fixture. They add a lot to the atmosphere inside that ground, and it really does make a difference. But Manchester City on the pitch, I think are going to be too much. I'm going to say a 2-0 win. Haaland's going to score back in the Nordic side of the world.
They're going to be too good for Copenhagen. 3-1.
Yeah, Dad, 11 matches, 10 wins, 1 draw. That's stupidly good form from Pep. Not only are they back in a Prem title race, I think they're favourites still to win the Champions League.
RB Leipzig against Real Madrid. It's the German upstarts against the godfathers of this tournament. They've won it 14 times, but RB Leipzig actually beat Real Madrid at this stage last season, Theo.
It's very interesting, but they did come second in the group to Man City. And they were eliminated by City at this stage last season. Now, Real Madrid, you'd put them on the same level for quality. Could they remove them from the Champions League too? It's most likely, isn't it, Dan?
Well, it is, Theo, but RB Leipzig have actually been to the semi-final, so do not completely write them off. And the other thing is, Theo, at the Red Bull Arena, the last 16 home games in the Champions League, they've scored a goal.
They turn up, don't they? And Luis Openda has scored a goal in each of their last 4 fixtures. They've got Xavi Simons. They're all young, up-and-coming talent. And when the Champions League lights are on at night, they're going to go into a different world.
But Jude Bellingham is absolutely smashing it in the domestic league with 16 goals this season.
He's so good, isn't he, Dad? And that's why he's a missed, because he's injured.
No, he's not.
He's injured. He
Wow.
will not play in this fixture. Are they really going to be the same without him? It's like taking Patrick Mahomes out the Kansas Chiefs team and say, go win the Super Bowl. It's not happening, mate. They beat Girona 3-0, Dad. They're 5 points clear of La Liga. Everything is flying, but Jude Bellingham did catch, I think it's a groin injury, and he will be missing this one. He'll obviously be back for the second leg. When you go to second legs Bernabeu, there's no harder place in the world to ever face. So no matter what I'm about to predict, I think Real Madrid will go through over 2 legs. But I am going to say Leipzig 2, Real Madrid 2.
RB Leipzig 1, Real Madrid 2. They're going to find it from somewhere. They always go beyond this stage of the tournament.
That was the pre-Bellingham injury prediction.
Yeah. Paris Saint-Germain against Real Sociedad, 2 teams who've never met before. Now PSG, of course, they're winning their Farmers League, 11 points ahead. Mbappe, 20 goals. But Theo, they tend to struggle against Spanish teams in this tournament.
They do, but their last 2 matches have been in Paris. They've played 2 PSG home games. They've scored 6 goals, conceded 2, and that's been great practice, shall we say, because Ligue 1 is easy for them to win and easy to win games. They're so much better than everybody. It's practice for the Champions League. And the likes of Gonzalo Ramos has scored in both games. I think Kolo Muani scored in one of them. Mbappe is rested and ready to go. He doesn't have to move too much, less travel. I'm sure Paris are going to smash Real Sociedad.
Oh, but Theo,
I'm very confident. And this is a message to Luis Enrique. Hashtag free Kangin Lee. I watched South Korea at the Asian Cup. The best player on the pitch wasn't Heung-min Son. It wasn't Hwang Ki-chan. It was that winger with a wonderful left foot.
Sociedad have got Olazabal and they've got Kubo, who plays for Japan. You saw him down at the Asian Cup.
I did, and he will be very tired from travelling from Qatar to then go straight into their last Spanish match, which they played him in, which is probably why they've scored 0 goals in 360 minutes, Dad.
Yeah.
Sociedad fans, explain that to me. I think it's going to be a 2-0 home win. I'm sorry.
PSG 2, Sociedad 0.
Mbappe to score.
Yes. Lazio against Bayern Munich. It's the Romans against the 6 times winners from Bavaria. Now Lazio struggling in the league this season, Theo.
Yes.
But they've been to the quarterfinals of the Champions League before, so they've got a little bit of pedigree.
And they'll be looking for revenge. The Aqualotti lost to Bayern Munich at this same stage of the Champions League in 2021, just 3 years ago.
And last time the aggregate score was 6-2, and it was 4-1 in this encounter, Theo, in Rome.
Well, let's talk about the form right now for Lazio. Will they come in with confidence? Well, it's hard to know because they went 3 games winless. Then they beat Cagliari 3-1, Immobile and Felipe Anderson getting something, but everyone seems to beat Cagliari if you're a decent side.
Now, Bayern Munich, let's talk about them because they were smashed
They
at the weekend.
They were. I would like to see the likes of Kimmich, Müller and De Ligt actually starting, not brought up in the 60th minute, starting. Let's see the first 11 in the Champions League, because I actually think they were rested in that Leverkusen game for this point.
24 goals in the league this season. Harry Kane is having a superb time. Do you think Bayern Munich have a chance of winning the Champions League?
Yes, I think they do. As I said, Dad, don't always look at one game. I love the energy of the squad. Manuel Neuer calling their last performance one of the worst performances they've ever had in their most important days.
I mean, Müller is world class, but at the weekend he was Müller light. But I'm going to move on to my prediction, which is 2-1 to the Bavarians.
I'm never touching yogurt again. My score prediction, Lazio 1, Bayern Munich 3, and a Harry Kane brace.
PSV Eindhoven against Borussia Dortmund. It is top of the Eredivisie against 4th in the Bundesliga. Now, PSV, look at their form in the league, Theo. 21 games, won 19, drawn 2, and that man, Luke de Jong, bullet header, is smashing it.
Age is just a number. This game will be fiery because the manager of PSV actually spent some time at Dortmund as the gaffer. Only 5 months. I think it was back in 2017. And I think he only won 8 games from 24, which is obviously Dortmund in Bundesliga is a very bad record. So Peter Bosch, I think his name is.
Bosch!
Whoa! Jesus, Dad.
Oh, we didn't even script that.
Everyone's going to hit the like target after that. Peter Bosch.
Hit the like target,
So
subscribe,
smash the like target.
Well, I tell you what, Luke de Jong has got his eye on the golden boot. He's got 7 goals in the Champions League, 18 in the Eredivisie.
Yep.
He's 2 goals ahead of Haaland. Can he possibly win the golden boot?
Well, Haaland's old friend is back at Dortmund. Jadon Sancho, Dad, looking to make a difference in the Champions League knockouts. Will he get his first goal here?
I tell you what, I'm just going to ask you because the German thogdad is a Borussia Dortmund fan.
Yeah.
What does Oliver think? What do you think?
He says, he told me this, he'll take a draw.
Going to PSV is a difficult place to go.
Yeah.
The fans are passionate. I actually see a home win here. I'm
Seriously?
going 2-1.
I'm going to go 1-1 draw here.
Yes.
And I do think Sancho is going to be the one to score for Dortmund.
Inter Milan against Atletico Madrid is top of Serie A against 4th in La Liga, Theo.
Arguably, this is the standout tie.
Yeah.
And let's first talk about the Italians. Probably the best team in the whole league, no doubt. 3-5-2 system, Lautaro, Thuram, up top, Çalhanoğlu. You know, Milan fans have a certain chance about it, but they can't sing it much right now because he's cooking.
I tell you what, I prefer me 4-4-2. You all know that Brexit style. Atletico Madrid struggling a little bit in their domestic league, but in Morata and Griezmann, who've both got 5 goals in this tournament already, they've got guys who know where the net is.
Well, Dad, I thought they showed real character away at Bernabeu to get an equaliser against a full-strength Real Madrid side. And that's the sort of fight I want to see at San Siro. Now, Diego Simeone has to dig deep because their last 2 games, they got knocked out the cup to Athletic Bilbao, and they lost away to Sevilla, who right now are in a relegation battle. So no idea, maybe his mind is on Europe, but it needs to be because it's against his former club. He played for them in the 90s. That's when Thogdad was about 40 years old.
Talking of the good old days, I remember seeing Atletico Madrid against Bolton Wanderers a few years ago. Was it 2007?
Yeah.
And we beat them over 3 hours. Happy memories.
Based on that knowledge, we beat them 1-0. Inter, because of that match, are also going to beat them 1-0. That's my prediction.
Inter Milan to win 2-0. FC Porto against Arsenal. It's 3rd in Liga Portugal against 3rd in the Premier League. First of all, Theo, Porto as a city.
Wow.
It's one of my favourites in Europe.
It's beautiful. We were there for a Champions League final, which was Chelsea against Man City.
I've played cricket down in Porto a couple of times. Tell you what, Arsenal fans, get yourself down to the river, drink some port, drink some wine,
And
eat some fish.
It may look like a lasagna, but it tastes way better. Franceschina. Just have it. That, and then follow it up with a cheeky pastel de nata. The truth is, they've got good history of making the last 8 in the Champions League. They do sometimes find a way. Last off, 5-3. What a result against Shakhtar Donetsk, Dad. Pepe extending his record as the oldest goalscorer in the Champions League. He's nearly as old as you.
Theo, cheeky. But there's 2 players I want to talk about, and the first one is Evan Nielsen, Theo.
Yes.
15 games, 8 goals and 3 assists in the league this season. And Mehdi Taremi, Theo, has been class, hasn't he?
He is cooking.
But talking of cooking, we have to speak about Arsenal. Because they come fresh off a 6-0 thrashing.
Jesus.
Smashed against West Ham.
Like I smashed the like target. You got to do it
that's
too.
clever. That's a clever
you
link.
gotta do it.
But the men for me, Theo, were Declan Rice and Saka.
They're going to travel to Portugal with full confidence, and that's probably why I'm going to expect them to come away with 3 points. It's not going to be as many goals. 0-2.
Do you know what? This is the fixture that I'd love to be at. I think it's going to be Porto 1, Arsenal 2. But there's something we have to look out for, Theo, and it's over here.
What is it? What? Oh, he's got the Rice West Ham shirt. Just because he scored against West Ham.
Isn't that beautiful?
Hit the like and we might give it away.
And last but not least, it's Napoli against FC Barcelona.
Oh, yeah.
It's the former home of Diego Maradona against the former home of Leo Messi. And, oh, that's interesting, Theo. Leo Messi, have you ever met him?
Dad, of course I have. And it happened
As if
on the
by
last
magic.
trip. Hey, the signed shirt. This will be in a museum one day. I'm never going to sell it. It's going to be with it won't even be in a museum. It will be with my grandson. I've been doing YouTube for 8 years and I spent half of that time like traveling, watching football. My GOAT is Messi. I've watched him all over the world and to actually meet him face to face, it was exactly how I expected. A top guy. And my God, Xavi would do anything for a player on Messi's level right now because he's just admitted that he's going to leave the club at the end of the season because he can't figure it out. The only player shining is Lamine Yamal. He got 2 goals against Granada in the 3-3 draw. But my God, they are leaking goals, aren't they, Dad?
But let's talk a little bit about Napoli first, because last season they were immense, weren't they, Theo?
Yeah.
Everyone was talking about the likes of Osimhen and Kvara. This season, I think, 9th in the league?
Yeah, it was
struggling.
Different manager, 3-5-2 system. They got Kvara behind the forward, and his new role just for me doesn't work. Barcelona are a team to be beaten right now. Do I think it would be close? Yes. But do I think the Neapolitans are going to win? They will. They're fighters, and they'll be eating pizza at the end. Down Di Michele's, loving it. 2-1.
Right, well, I'm just going to go for a 1-1 draw, Theo. I don't think you're right with that 2-1.
That's the Champions League complete. Tuesday, Wednesday night matches are going to be in Real. We'll see you next week for the second leg, where I'll probably do some travelling. Maybe we'll bring back the live stream. Should we bring back the live stream?
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Let us know if you want us to do
sit down.
that.
Smash the like, 10,000 likes, because we are certainly back. We are so back. See you in a bit. Bye-bye.